Hey guys, All in Crypto here, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another YouTube video. I hope you've all had a wonderful Wednesday. I'm sure it's been a worrying Wednesday for some of you. We've got a lot to cover in this video. I'm going to try not to ramble on too much, but there of course is a lot to cover, as I'm sure many of you have anticipated. What a 24 hours it has been for Cardano and crypto as a whole. We've essentially seen the Indian government submit a bill to ban most cryptocurrencies in light of them launching their own CBDC digital currency. And of course, the main news surrounding Cardano is the fact that eToro have decided to essentially delist, but not delist, Cardano to US customers, which essentially is going to cause people to force sell their ADA. I do not believe that you can transfer your ADA off eToro. We are going to get into that. We're going to be taking a look at the kind of official eToro website and the announcement that they gave in regards to this. I also want to be putting a little bit of context to this, because yesterday we had spoke about the fact that Bitstamp were going to list Cardano today, I believe. And in actual fact, Bitstamp, I think, is a magnitude of 10 times larger than eToro in volume. Yet the price of Cardano, we all know what it's doing. We're all watching the charts. We are absolutely going to get into the price, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm going to be sheltering you, hopefully, from the FUD storm that you're currently in, because people are really taking a lot of things out of context. Just take a second to step back. What has changed with ADA from when people were willing to buy it at $3 to where it currently is? Now, the price is an obvious one, but fundamentally, there has been only improvements. Nothing has detracted from Cardano fundamentally. It's still as strong as it's ever been. And in my opinion, we are absolutely still going to see those new all-time highs within this cycle. Now, whether that goes into next year or not, we'll talk about that in another video, cycles and how we think that's going to pan out. But you are going to see new all-time highs for Cardano, guys. We're not going into a bear market. Certainly, there's no signs of that yet. And that's something we're also going to talk about. You know, the fundamentals are still as strong as ever. We know that still 71% of all Cardano is staked, and it's really selling off today due to the eToro news, which is where I want to start this video. We're going to be getting into a number of things. I found this very funny. It's always good, certainly on days like this when people are very down and negative, to laugh. You could so imagine Mr. Jones saying this. The elite don't want you to know this, but NFTs are free. You can screenshot them. I own 458 NFTs. You could imagine him saying that. A little bit of, maybe that puts a smile on some of your faces. So let's get into the main news, and that, of course, is eToro. The India ban in crypto, we covered it in yesterday's video, so we just thought it was worth mentioning. Gives us some kind of reasoning to why the market is slumpy. Cardano, of course, has been somewhat, but not delisted from US users or the US eToro. Now, eToro to limit Cardano and Tron for US customers. Coin price falls. Now, this is interesting. This is the official sort of letter, if you will, put up by eToro yesterday. Important update regarding ADA and Tron. eToro will be limiting ADA and Tron for users in the US. These US users will no longer be able to open new positions in or receive staking rewards for Cardano and Tron. You will still be able to close existing positions as you see fit. Now, this is interesting because I don't actually believe, it's not like another exchange, like, so for example, when XRP got delisted from Coinbase, people could just move their XRP to another exchange or practice self-custody, which is always the right way. You can't do that with eToro, I do not believe. There's quite a lot going on here. When will this come into effect? On the 26th, so 2 days from now. December the 26th, so it's not even in effect yet. How will this affect investments in Cardano and Tron? You will still be able to securely hold. You can close your position at any time, but what it doesn't say is you can transfer your ADA. And down here, they do actually ask this question. There's a few funky questions that they ask and then try and answer. But it says, can I move my ADA or Tron asset to the eToro Money crypto wallet? We are working on making the eToro crypto wallet capability with these two assets. So something's gone, you know, there's been some sort of a spook perhaps on eToro's side, but Charles made a video in light of this. They essentially say that they've These changes are due to business-related considerations in the evolving regulatory environment. Charles actually made a video yesterday talking about this and saying that there's been nothing from his side, or his department doesn't necessarily deal with the liquidity side of things, the exchange side of things, but there's been nothing, as far as he's aware, there's been no regulatory pressure or anything to suggest that they would need to delist Cardano. This is a move that eToro are choosing to make. This has caused forced sellers, because what else are they going to do? Yes, they can hold it and close at a later date if they chose to, but this, you know how this goes, guys. You know what, retail can be very easily moved around. Certainly something like a delisting has a bit of a catastrophic effect, knowing that they can't actually move it, and in anticipation of further downside, people are going to sell. And this is what you're seeing today, ladies and gentlemen. To really put this into perspective, and I'll go onto my Twitter, we'll get rid of Mr. Jones. This is something I retweeted earlier, and it says eToro volume is $54 million. Bitstamp's volume is $474 million. That really puts it into perspective. So we've got delisted off a small exchange and listed on a big one. And there's more liquidity within that. So that hasn't really been reflected. What people have really chose to focus on is the fact that eToro have delisted Cardano. Cardano is not what seems to be a very liked cryptocurrency, and that's ultimately not why I'm such a fan of ADA. It's not because it's a public favourite. The reason I like Cardano so much is because I believe I believe in their vision. I like how they're choosing to favour adoption of the underlying technology over pumpermentals, if you will, the price going up in a short period of time. They believe in a longer term growth. Still think you're going to see that short term price pump, but when that comes, I actually did not expect, and I've got to be honest with you guys, Cardano to pull back this much from where we were in the hard fork. I thought we'd see some kind of a pullback, but it'd be short-lived. But we're currently down 48%. Now, we've always said there's a possibility of this, and what does this mean? What does this pullback in terms of length and severity actually mean? Not a great deal. I mean, you've not invalidated your macro trend. This was nearly a 61% pullback, and certainly before we started to move, a 58% pullback. So we've seen these before time and time again for Cardano. There's been very similar pullbacks that have been 40+%, etc., etc. And we've typically always recovered from it. And I still absolutely believe, guys, that you are going to recover from this. See this one? This was 51%. This was after a hard fork, and this was somewhat after a hard fork, and certainly this one is. So what does this actually mean? Well, it just means that we're still in a retractive move, guys, and we haven't quite found that bottom yet. But that is coming, and you are still going to see new all-time highs. If you take a look at this over here, guys, this is the macro trend that we have, and this doesn't get invalidated. How Elliott wave theory structure works is essentially you invalidate it when this is your typical Elliott wave structure with your 5 waves. If you go up like this, your attractive wave, you come up for your third wave, and then you go below where you started the third wave, your impulsive wave, the entire structure is invalidated. And that's not been the case for AD yet. So there's still absolutely credibility to the fact that you're following this Elliott wave theory. It's just taking a little bit longer and going down a bit of a different path than what we would have typically expected. So there's no reason to panic. This is just how markets work, guys. You're never going to get markets to do what you want them to do 100% of the time. Cardano's just taking a bit of a longer road to get to its destination. That destination is still coming. We are still in a bull market. And in actual fact, there's never been more exciting things on the horizon for Cardano than right now. And the price just does not reflect that. And this is really due to the eToro FUD. And ultimately, guys, you're still on your way to new all-time highs. You're just taking a bit of a longer retracement to get there. That's how this goes. Markets are very much like that. If you look on the daily, your RSI looks absolutely beautiful, guys. And this, 2 ways to look at this. You can look at this as a buying opportunity, or you can look at this with a negative slant. This, for me, is a buying opportunity. When I get the opportunity to buy, I absolutely will be at these prices. If I've been coming on here and saying that essentially this is a accumulate zone, This absolutely is, guys. If I've been willing to accumulate at a higher price, what's stopping you from accumulating at a lower price? And it's FUD, it's fear, it's a whole plethora of things. And may I remind people, we used to do a lot of looking into Amazon and some of the .com stocks back when I first started the channel. The best time to buy Amazon was at $6. That was after a 95% retracement. Yeah? So the best time typically to buy is after a retracement. You've got that opportunity right now with Cardano. What has changed fundamentally? Absolutely nothing. I was looking at how the supply of Cardano is actually shared around, and it's absolutely apparent that Cardano is held by mostly the public. It's a very distributed token that, you know, there's fewer insiders in it than other coins, and other coins see the positivity in terms of media and stuff like that for those exact reasons, because of who's holding it and who's behind it. Whereas Cardano is for the people, and there's been this kind of, you know, once upon a time, crypto was somewhere you went to move away from corruption and manipulation, and those same actors that were or existed in the kind of current financial legacy system are finding their way over to crypto. And when we become a multi-trillion dollar asset class, we kind of invite them in, because that's part of getting the market cap and the volume of money into the space in order to grow, and you have to take the positives and negatives that come with that. So you can see in your RSI, this is a perfect time. This historically certainly has been a fantastic buying opportunity at these levels, ladies and gentlemen. This is still, in my opinion, an accumulate range. Where we bottom out here, you know, there's not a great deal of support here, but target areas, what have currently or previously acted as resistance and support prior. And you can see there are a number of levels here. Certainly the 0.786 is a big one. I don't think you're going to get that far, guys. I think you're going to recover before then. But we're really yet to see where this bottoms out. In yesterday's video, we did take a look at the fact that we were kind of trapped within this golden pocket, and said similarly, you were trapped here, and we didn't really like that. And that's kind of come to fruition. But ultimately, guys, hang in there. What are you going to do? Sell at a loss? Sometimes markets don't go as planned. And the thing with Amazon was, the value was still the same in regards to the underlying value. The only thing that had really changed was the price, due to markets being markets. Same thing taking place with Cardano today, guys, but on a smaller scale for now. But in more of a macro term, it's very similar. So this structure is still in play. We're just taking a longer two-way pullback, and I do still believe this is going to continue. I think what's on the horizon for ADA is really going to be the driving factor. I thought maybe the hype in the run-up might sort of spur things along a little bit more, as people will typically buy in anticipation of something happening. But I think the closer we get to these dApps and this DeFi ecosystem coming forth on Cardano, the more we're going to see the price uptick. And really the dump that you've seen today, markets were already on somewhat shaky ground for a number of reasons. Certainly we looked at Bitcoin yesterday, but the ETHEREUM news has kind of tipped it over the edge and somewhat forced people into selling, as there's no other option really. I mean, of course you could hold, but people aren't going to be looking at it from that perspective. So that's largely what I have for you in this video. To put things into perspective again, guys, we've gone from being delisted on a small exchange to being listed on a major one. This is fantastic news. You know, that hasn't changed. It's not being reflected in the price. And remember, the best time to buy Amazon was at $6 after a 95% pullback. Pullbacks are fantastic buying opportunities, and that's how you essentially want to look at this. That is really all I have for you, ladies and gentlemen. I am going to love and leave you in that video. Keep the faith. You know, it's questionable everything that's going on, but ultimately markets right now aren't reflecting underlying value. I personally believe the underlying value is there with ADA, and I think over time this is going to get realized. And I'm absolutely going to be holding on and accumulating Cardano at this range. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to love and leave you on that note. If you've enjoyed the video, a like is always appreciated. So is a comment. Remember, we do have the ALLIN crypto stake pool. If you're looking for a stake pool to delegate to, we actually minted a block today, I believe. So that's happy days. I'll love and leave you guys. See you all in the next YouTube video.